Hey, so for the 14,000 of you who are new here, if you didn't know, my background is in media. I'm a media professional. I spent years in the PR industry. I am working in the social justice event space. So I think I'm qualified to make this video. This video is for the everyday Palestinians who are being asked to take interviews on our behalf. They are not for journalists who are being formally media trained by professionals in the industry. So if you're an already well-versed journalist or somebody doing interviews, this is not for you. This is for the average everyday Palestinian who's being asked to share their thoughts on Palestine and what's happening right now. This is also something that you can use if you are a pro-Palestinian advocate and are being bombarded with messages like this or demanding, conversations about certain things. You can use these talking points as well. So the following tips are going to be for anybody who wants to speak to someone about Palestine and how to react to certain questions that we are continuously receiving. I'm sure you've seen, as per usual, whenever Palestine is on the offensive, you see some Palestinians on TV. Journalists in Western media are getting in touch with people on the ground in Gaza who are not journalists. They are everyday people living under siege and constant bombardment. And they have the nerve to ask them questions and demand that they condemn violence and condemn violent retaliation while they are surviving a genocide. And there was this video of a BBC radio interview with this really incredible woman named Selma from Anat International. Make sure you're following her page. She's living in Gaza and giving live updates. And she called out the reporter for asking her trap questions. So here's how to respond to trap questions. If you are being asked to condemn Palestinian resistance or condemn violent resistance against colonial powers, or for your thoughts on something like Hamas, here is what you should say. I am not interested in discussing or debating your thoughts on how you feel a group of oppressed people are to react to violent colonial powers after living decades under occupation and siege. However, if you would like to get to the root of the violence, I am ready and willing and able to discuss the Israeli occupation of the Palestinian people. If you are a Palestinian living in Gaza and a journalist gets in touch with you for an interview, and the first question that they ask you is, do you condemn violence? Are you regretful of Hamas's offensive and the retaliation that you are currently experiencing in Gaza? Here's how you should respond. I have seen your previous interviews with Israelis or those throughout the Jewish diaspora, and I've noticed that your first question to them is always, how are you feeling or how are you doing? And I wonder why that is not your first question to Palestinians who are living under oppression and siege. If you are being asked about your feelings about protests in support of Palestinian resistance around the world in an effort to trap you into framing it as if you support terrorism, here is how you should respond. I think it's wonderful that throughout the sea of misinformation that the media has been focused on spreading about the Palestinian people, that those around the world have been able to dig deeper and have continued to side with the oppressed and call for an end to the Israeli occupation of Palestine. Those are the three major talking points that I think are really important right now. I think that as Palestinians or supporters of Palestine, it's really important that we remember not to engage with any Zionist propaganda or rhetoric and not to pay attention or give attention to the questions that are distracting from the root of this issue, which is the Israeli occupation. If you thought that this was helpful and there are other questions that you've seen journalists asking Palestinians or pro-Palestinians in interviews and you want me to address them and create talking points for them, please let me know. I'm happy to do it.